paying off £22,000 of debt didn't just fix our money. It exposed everything that was wrong with how we think. At the time, we were just thinking, how do we get out of this? How do we stop feeling like our money's gone before we've even been paid? How do we stop stressing every single month? It felt like no matter what we earned, it was already spent.
Yeah, honestly, we weren't even thinking long term like that. We just wanted relief. To stop feeling stressed every time money came up. And if you've clicked on this, chances are you feel like that too. Like you're doing everything right, but nothing's really changing. Or that constant pressure in the background, knowing you need to get on top of things, but not really knowing how to stay consistent with it.
And you know, looking back now, clearing £22,000 of debt was actually the easy part. Becoming the people who could do it, that's what changed everything. Okay guys, I was away for the last video and Joseph, he held it down. But I'm back now.
She's back.
And I feel like this is the perfect place to jump back in, because this is probably the biggest thing that actually got us through the whole journey.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is the mindset that kept us disciplined.
Because realistically, there were so many moments we could have just stopped, you know? And I remember there were times where it just felt like, what's the point? Like, we're making all these sacrifices and nothing's really changing.
Yeah, that middle phase is dangerous because you're putting in effort, but you're not seeing results fast enough to stay motivated. And that's where most people fall off. So we had to simplify it, and we basically lived by 3 rules. Number 1, we don't quit. Number 2, we don't rush. And number 3, we don't compare.
And that sounds simple, but that carried us through everything. We don't quit meant that even when we felt off, we still showed up. We don't rush meant we stopped expecting quick results. We accepted that this was going to take time, you know, and we don't compare. And that's the one that saved us.
Yeah, because we actually had to take action on that one. We unfollowed things and people that made us feel behind. We stopped putting ourselves in situations where we felt pressure to spend. And from there, it just became about choosing long-term over short-term. Even when it wasn't exciting. Even when no one could see the progress.
Yeah, and even when it felt like nothing was changing. Because in the beginning, it was slow. You're doing the right things, but the results haven't caught up yet. So the mindset had to become, we're doing this regardless of how we feel, you know? Because if you only show up when you feel motivated, guys, you won't stay consistent long enough for it to work. Okay, so that brings us on to the next point. The things we had to unlearn about money. I think the biggest shifts for us, well, for me, was unlearning what I thought money was for.
Yeah, same.
Because before it was like spending to feel good, spending to look good, spending just because everyone else was. Like money was something that came in and it was meant to go straight back up. We earn, we spend, right?
And we had to completely flip that. We stopped seeing money as something to use and started seeing it as something to manage, something to build with, something to invest with, something to use intentionally.
Yeah, and that shift changes your decisions in real time. Because now it's not just, can we afford this? It becomes, does this actually move us forward?
And then there's comparison. That one will derail you faster than anything, trust me. Because especially now, with social media, you're constantly seeing people traveling, upgrading, living a certain lifestyle. And naturally, you start thinking, we're behind. We should be doing more. Why aren't we there yet? But the truth is, you're comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel. And what you don't see is the debt, the stress, the pressure behind the scenes. And if you let that influence your decisions, you'll start spending just to keep up instead of building something that actually aligns with your life.
So we had to take control of that. We stopped putting ourselves in situations where we felt pressure to spend, and we made a decision. We're staying in our own lane. Our goals, our timeline, our priorities. And once we did that, everything became clearer. And more importantly, it became a lot easier to stay disciplined.
Okay, so the third thing we're going to talk about is how delayed gratification changed our life. Yeah, and this is probably one of the biggest things that changed everything for us. Delayed gratification. And I think it sounds simple, but it's actually one of the hardest things to practice.
Yeah, choosing not to have something now so you can have something better later. And when you say it like that, it sounds easy, but in real life, it's constant. It's in the small decisions. Do we spend this money now, or do we put it towards our future? Do we go out, or do we stay disciplined? And when it comes to finances, delayed gratification is basically saying, I'm willing to sacrifice the short-term comfort for long-term freedom.
And that's where most people struggle, because the short term is right in front of you. It feels good. It feels convenient. It's instant. But the long term, that's quiet. You don't see it straight away. That takes patience. It takes vision. And it takes trusting that you're building something actually worth it.
And for us, it looked like saying no a lot. No to the trips, no to the unnecessary spending. And I remember there were times where everyone else was doing something and we were the ones saying no. I'm not gonna lie, it was frustrating.
So we had to make it easier on ourselves. One thing we started doing was this. If we felt the urge to spend, we didn't act on it straight away. We gave it time, even just 24 hours, yeah? And most of the time, we realized that we didn't even want it like that. We didn't want the thing that we were looking to buy. And that's when it clicked. It's not the big decisions that changed our lives. Nah. It's the small ones repeated consistently.
Exactly. And every time we said no, we were building discipline. We were building consistency. And we were moving closer to being debt-free. Even when it didn't feel like it day to day.
And now on the other side, we're so glad we chose long-term over short-term. Because what we have now, the peace, the control, the freedom, it's worth it so much more than anything we could have bought in the moment.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is why we think most people stay stuck financially. I think a lot of people don't stay stuck because they don't know what to do, but rather because they can't stay consistent.
Yeah, exactly. Because the information is out there. Budgeting, paying off debt, saving,
All of it.
Investing, it's not hidden anymore. There are so many podcasts, YouTube videos. You guys are watching this on YouTube right now.
Literally.
TikToks, books. People are constantly sharing financial advice. But knowing what to do and doing it consistently, that's two completely different things, especially when progress feels slow.
Yeah, and I think that's why so many people struggle financially now, because we live in a world that pushes that instant gratification everywhere. Everything is buy now, pay later, you deserve it, treat yourself. So staying disciplined almost feels unnatural, you know? And then when you combine that with then the social media and then all the comparison, it becomes really easy to fall into a cycle of spending emotionally instead of intentionally.
Yeah, and honestly, the UK data reflects that. A lot of people are now under financial pressure right now. More than half of the UK adults say they've experienced problems with debt. And a lot of people are just trying to keep up financially. Now, this is according to Money Advice Liaison Group.
Yeah, and organizations like Citizens Advice have said that hundreds and thousands of people are seeking debt help compared to just a few years ago. This isn't always about people being irresponsible. You know, sometimes people are just overwhelmed. Cost of living is high, everything's expensive, and people are stressed.
But let's get real for a second. Everyone says that they want to be financially free. Yeah? They want money in their account. They don't want to stress when they tap their card. Yeah. But at the same time, there has to be a level of honesty with yourself, like real honesty about your habits, your spending, your priorities. Yeah. Does your lifestyle actually line up with the future you say you want?
Yeah, because we had to do that too. Now, I remember we sat down in our bedroom upstairs and we looked at our situation. We looked at the entire situation. I remember it was in June. Do you remember?
Yeah.
We sat down and we really had to ask ourselves, are we building the life we want? Or are we just reacting emotionally in the moment? We were looking at all our numbers. We were looking at what financial state we were in. And guys, that was uncomfortable. But that honesty is what changes things. If we didn't do that, if we didn't get real, we probably wouldn't be where we are today. And if you're honest, you have to be willing to change. Even when it's inconvenient, even when it's repetitive, even when nobody else sees the effort yet. Because guys, consistency isn't exciting. It's the small decisions repeated over and over and over again. And those small decisions are what completely changes your life.
All right, so section 5 is how consistency changed our marriage. This is a big one because this is something I don't think we expected at all, to be honest. But this journey really changed our relationship because you're forced to be aligned. You can't really do a journey like this halfway. I mean, you both have to be on the same page, right? So that means real communication, like proper, good communication, yeah? Not surface level, I mean actual conversations about money, priorities, and the life that you're trying to build together.
Yeah, and that's that key word there, together. You have to make decisions together. Like, are we spending this or not? Are we staying disciplined this month? What are we actually working towards? And you can't hide in either. Because everything becomes visible. Your habits, your mindset, and how you deal with that pressure. And how you see each other in hard situations. When you're tired, when you're stressed, when things feel slow, and when that motivation drops. And there were times where we didn't always agree.
Yeah, that's for sure. There were definitely moments where one of us wanted to spend and the other one was like, nah, we need to stay disciplined.
Yeah, and in those moments, it's not really about the money. It's about how you handle it. And those are the moments that either pull you apart or they force you to grow together.
For us, it made us realize that we're not actually doing this individually. We're doing this as a team. Like, if one of us is feeling low or tempted to fall off track, the other one steps in. And if one of us is tired, the other one carries us a bit more. If one of us is doubting the process, the other one reminds us why we started. And that support is everything, because consistency is hard to maintain on your own. Yeah, but together, it becomes a lot more sustainable. And over time, you start to trust each other a bit more. A lot more, actually. And not just emotionally, but practically. Like, I trust that you're making decisions that align with where we're going.
Yeah, and that builds a different kind of confidence in the relationship. Because you know that you're both moving in the same direction. And that's when it stops feeling like my journey or your journey, and it becomes our journey. And honestly, our faith really reinforced this as well. There's a verse in Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verses 9 to 10 that says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. And that's exactly what this journey felt like, because there were moments where one of us felt low, but the other was there to lift us back up. And that's the beauty of building together. You're not carrying everything alone. You're supported, you're strengthened, you're covered.
And that's what made the difference for us. We weren't just paying off debt. We were building something together, something with purpose.
So what did we gain beyond the money? Yes, paying off £22,000 changed our finances, but honestly, the biggest things we gained weren't financial. It was the peace, the confidence and the discipline, and the control, which is a big one that people don't talk about enough.
Yeah, because before, it feels like your money is controlling you. Bills, debt payments, everything feels reactive. Like everything is entitled to your money, except you. You're constantly thinking about what's going out, what's due, what can you and can't you afford. And it creates this low-level stress, like all the time. Even when nothing is happening, it's just there. But coming out of that, you start to feel like you're back in control of your life again. Like you're deciding where your money goes, every single pound. Not just reacting to where it has to go.
Yeah, and that changes how you move. You become more intentional. You think before you spend. You plan instead of just hoping things work out. And even simple things just feel different. Like spending money doesn't come with guilt anymore because it's planned, not impulsive.
Yeah, and you're not making decisions from pressure. You're making them from a place of clarity now. And that control gives you confidence because you trust yourself. You trust your decisions.
Yeah, and for us, our faith really tied into this as well, because we started to see money differently, not just as something to spend, but something we've been entrusted with.
Yeah, like the idea of stewardship. I touched on this in the last video actually. It means what we have isn't just ours to use however we feel in the moment. It's something we're responsible for managing well. And there's a verse in Luke chapter 16 verse 10 that says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." And that really stuck with us because it made us realize if we can't manage what we have now, why would we be trusted with more?
Yeah, and that shift changed everything. We weren't just trying to get out of debt anymore. We were now learning how to manage, how to grow, and how to honor what we've been given. And that's where the blessing comes in. Because when you become a better steward, you position yourself to handle more. You're showing God with the small that you have, or with what you've been given, you're able to manage and handle it well. And therefore, you are able to be blessed with more. And overall, you stop just trying to get through life. You actually start building something with a purpose. So if we have to summarize everything we've shared in this video, it really comes down to a few key things. First, mindset. This journey isn't just about numbers. We've said this before and we'll say it again. It's about how you think, guys. Every single day, especially when progress feels slow.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Second, unlearning. Letting go of the comparison, the emotional spending, and the idea that money is just there to be used. It's not.
Third, delayed gratification. Being willing to say no now. Hear me. being willing to say no now so you can build something better in the long term.
Fourth is consistency. Because it's not what you do once, it's what you do repeatedly over and over again. That's what actually changes your situation.
And fifth, building together. Not doing it alone, but supporting each other, staying aligned and growing as a team.
And honestly, that's what made the biggest difference for us. Yes, we paid off over £22,000 of debt. But what we gained beyond that, that's something money alone can't give you. The money is one thing, but who you become in the process, that's everything. That's absolutely everything.
Most definitely. So if you're on a journey like this right now, stick with it. Stick with it. Even if it feels slow, even if it feels repetitive, even if it feels like nothing is changing yet, because it's doing more for you than you realize.
Yeah, and we genuinely love to hear from you guys. So if you're at the start of your journey, comment start below. If you're in the middle of your journey, comment still going. And if you've come out the other side, comment done. And if you're on your own personal journey, let us know where you're at. So let's jet to success together, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you guys.